What's up, friends? This is Manni and welcome to something very special for me today. Today's sponsor, Supremacy 1914, a free online PvP strategy game set in World War I, where you can, train troops, manage resources, and do everything you need to do in order to bring your nation to world dominance and victory. And the reason why this is so special for me is I'm a huge fan of this kind of gameplay. Many of you may still from their childhood remember the Risk, or in German Risiko game, where also on the world map you fight on the table with your friends for world dominance. And I was so good at that and I played this so much my friends wouldn't even want to play this with me anymore, and now I can play that for free over the internet with millions of players using Steam browser or also the mobile phones, because it's perfectly cross-platform, and do this from here. So this is really something awesome for me and the perfect match for what I really like. And yeah, down in the video description pinned comment you find a link, because it'll give you a 1-month premium time and 15,000 gold marks to start with, which helps a lot in the beginning when you have a shortage of resources and you can trade it in to compensate. It's really useful. So yeah, use the link down below and let me handle the rest with showing you the gameplay. Because you'll see how I started as Maine, United States, from this and went to this later over the course of the war, and you'll see exactly how this went. It starts with you choosing a country or a nation. In this case, like I said, I'm choosing Maine. I got an artillery very early on as a reward for completing the tutorial. I guess the game takes you by the hand and teaches you the most important things. And then I got this artillery, and I used it immediately to start a war, which the game warned me about, that if you do that, this will be seen as an act of war, and I was prepared for it. So let's go. It should be said that this is not the kind of game that requires you to be there at all times. Troop movements take several hours, same as productions of buildings in your provinces and troops, so it is a long-term experience, and a match can take a few weeks to complete. But you will be interested to know what has happened in the meantime, so you can always log in from your office, from your phone, wherever you are in perfect cross-platform, and check the progress of your war. And like as you can see here, preparing for a war also on Woodstock here is what I do. So I'm fighting on two fronts. I'm beginning in the northeast, expanding my territories, and in the southwest of Maine. So this is going to be interesting. A few little facts here about the game. There are historical maps and fictional scenarios you can play with up to 500 players per map and game. This is why it can take several weeks for a game to complete if you manage to stay on that map for a long time and fight till the end with other nations. This is going to get quite intense, as you might imagine. Also, there are historically accurate units and buildings and tech trees with over 120 different units to train and use in battle. Even secret weapons of World War I, and an economy system and resource trade system is in place to use too. To be able to showcase this war here for you in this short video, I kept the camera in one position and recorded for a few hours and let this run 100 times speed, because all units actually do move in real time. It just takes time. But if you do it like I did here, you can watch it happen. And so you see my artillery is beginning to fire on Boston there. It's already dealing damage to the enemy troops without even my own troops being in the battle yet, while they are still moving in. So I'm getting free damage in basically at this time due to the artillery, and they can't get to it because my other army is already moving up to them. And you'll see here 50 times speed now. The battle is raging on with my own troops also engaging with the enemy, eventually taking them down because I have a superior force moving in, and backed up by artillery from behind. That leaves the enemy pretty chanceless, and well, it doesn't take long in this case to succeed in the takeover of Boston, which is a good first step. It is a new resource that is being added to my resource stash, because all territories provide their own resources as well. And you can see on the top there are a few things that are listed as red. That's where I have a shortage of, so I need to acquire more territory. And Chikope is a really good province to take because it generates more lumber, which I desperately need. Same goes for Hartford, generating gas or gasoline used for production of vehicles, which of course as the war progresses I have a big need of. So the battle has just begun, and remember, in the meantime a battle is taking on, or is going on in the top right for Woodstock. I'll show you this in a second as well. So let's move on now that we've taken over Boston with 100 times speed. As you can see, my armies are moving in once more, and took down the army that was trying to retake Boston. And yeah. And just so you know, the military solution is not the only one. You can also go with trade and diplomacy instead. I could probably ask for the lumber I need and offer something else that I have. I can form alliances and become even more powerful that way. So there is multiple different ways on how to conquer the world. You don't have to do it all by yourself, right? You saw here I split the troops. Now I've taken Hartford, and the remaining few troops there in Chicopee won't make it long anymore. They will be gone any moment now, and then this player, will basically be banished from the map if this is the only place he's got for now. And like I said, meanwhile, in the northeast, we have Woodstock being under attack. I also split my forces there. I'm attacking Woodstock directly, which you see, it's a thicker name. It's the capital of this player. And we're also in Camberton up there. If I read this correctly, yeah. And we're taking both provinces at the same time, and pretty much ending it also up there. There are still some more provinces and troops up there, but this is the main force that the enemy has. So once I've gotten rid of that, things will quiet down and I will have more territory. See, Woodstock is already mine. There is still some troop movement from the enemy trying to retake the capital, which obviously is the most important thing, but with 41 troops on it, I have a pretty good standing there and don't really need to worry too much about it. Meanwhile, down the lower bottom left, the artillery is already shooting down on Chicopee, and yeah, so moving in, taking down the last resistance here, and then having territory expanded pretty far. So Montcalm is the last one that I have to deal with here. The little island to the right even belongs to that territory as well. And meanwhile, Chicopee is falling too. And this is when my border is basically secured for the moment. To the left, you see that blue player. He would represent the next obstacle if I wanted to go by warfare. But perhaps there is a different solution to be found there, because definitely I need some more wood. I'll show you in a second. After taking a territory, you can boost morale, because morale in these provinces will obviously be low for the moment. You may not be the most popular party there after you've taken that area, but you can build back up and get morale back up by using either boosts or letting some time pass, producing buildings and infrastructure, and so on. And once that is improved, there will be higher resource production from that province, as well as perhaps unit productions that you get to due to the constructions that you place. One thing that confused me a little bit, some of the provinces, once you've taken them down, they seem to have no more buildings. So I have not been able to acquire a province and then already, use the buildings that were there. They were always gone after I've destroyed this. Let me show you all the units that are here. You see there's land units, there's air units, and naval units. There's bombers, there's fighters, and there are even some balloons that you can use. Then there are naval units, light cruisers, submarines, and battleships, and they all have their different stats, strength, and weaknesses. And then there are, of course, a whole lot of ground troops that you can build. Remember, there's 120 different units to research and to get to. What you see here is my early stage, only what I can see at this moment. There will be so many more units later down the line once you've leveled up, because you cannot just produce certain workshops, you can also level them up. And by gaining levels on workshops, you unlock more units to produce. And so you can either, for example, build a whole lot of smaller units and first units, or you can tech and build stronger units and fall into enemy territory with that. Also, you see, I was, I think, place 32 before we started conquering these places around us. Now I'm 12th on the map, so I have ranked up. I'm now a much more recognizable force on the current map. But of course, if you not move anymore, you will fall behind again. So you'll always have to do something. Also, you can claim rewards constantly for, you know, for things you've progressed through or achievements you've made. But I can already see my next problem. You see, lumber, for example, big problem. I produce 4,000, but I have a much greater upkeep, so I'm in minus, basically. The same goes for grain. Producing 6,000 and having like 16,000 upkeep, so I will have to move on. And this is what will keep you engaged for sure, because you're gonna have to manage those resources. I'm gonna have to scout territories that I kind of need, and I can already see to my left, this player has grain and has a lot of wood, and also to my left there is double gasoline, so I'm going for it. Ladies and gents, use the link down below, get yourself 1 month premium time and the 15,000 gold mark, get yourself playing in the game. Maybe we'll see us on the battlefield, and don't forget to tell me what you think about this kind of strategy game.